Zimbabwe is a significant player in the global mining industry. The country has a relatively long history of mineral exploration and mining. Zimbabwe has the second largest platinum reserves after South Africa and has 15% of the global chromite reserves. As a sector, mining has become one of the major pillars to the economic development of the country, leading in exports by contributing an average of 16.9% to the gross domestic product from 2009 to 2011.
I think we are all aware that the mining sector is a key driver in the economic development of Zimbabwe.
However, despite its role and potential, the mining sector has and continues to give rise to various social, environmental, and economic human rights violations, particularly for local communities that live in the vicinity of mining operations. Despite a progressive new constitution, there is still a very limited dialogue on the human rights challenges in Zimbabwe's extractive sector. It is against this background the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission decided to document cases of the positive and negative effects of mining activities on communities in Shurugwi. This was done in order to safeguard the human rights and the environment of mining affected communities in Zimbabwe and contribute to the economic recovery and drive socio-economic development in Zimbabwe. The Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission was established in terms of sections 232 and 242 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, number 20, Act 2013.
The Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission is one of the 5 Chapter 12 independent commissions supporting democracy, established in terms of Section 232 of the new Constitution. And one of the general objectives of the 5 independent commissions is to support and entrench human rights and democracy in the country.
The Constitution mandates ZHRC to promote, protect, and enforce human rights and fundamental freedoms enshrined under the Bill of Rights. For better exercise of its functions, ZHRC has established 8 thematic working groups. One of these groups is in the area of the environment.
This is a group comprised of citizens, private sector, government officials, that basically engage and try to address issues of environmental protection.
The ZHRC, in conjunction with Oxfam, has undertaken a massive documentation exercise, primarily the recording of the impact of mining on human rights in Shurugwi. This extensive 2-week exercise has seen the Commission document the positive and negative impact of mining on human rights in Shurugwi. Shurugwi. The town is located on a rich mineral belt known as the Great Dyke, host to large deposits of platinum, chrome, and gold.
And we found a lot of mineral reserves, especially along the Great Dyke where Shurugwi lies,
making it one of the most mineral-rich towns in the country. Yet the exploitation of those minerals has yet to deliver material improvements in the lives of people living in the area. The challenge that stands at the center of the extractive industry in Shurugwi is to balance between the exploitation of minerals and the sustainable development within communities of extraction. There are 3 levels of mining in Shurugwi. Firstly, large-scale mining. The largest mine currently is Unki Mine, a subsidiary of Anglo American through its platinum wing Anglo Plats. Zemasco was one of the largest mining firms and still maintains a presence through mining tributaries in the area of chrome. Todo, a new mining concern, has begun setting up but is yet to start commercial mining operations.
We are headquartered in South Africa for Africa operations. Africa operations cover Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Zambia, DRC, and Brazil is also bracketed in Africa. Operations a little bit in Mali, but this is the only platinum project in the group.
The second level of mining is small scale. The past decade has seen the rise of small scale mining that has become a major player in the sector.
My blocks is what no miner has in person. Tino tribute nama companies.
Nigat iko zvino ndiri pano paplot ndiri kushanda kumamines angu maviri. Imwe iri ku Highlands, imwe iri ku Wild Beast. Iri ku Wild Beast ndasinka just 3 meters. Iri ku Highlands ndasinka 18.3 meters.
The third type of mining is called artisanal mining. These miners are notoriously known as makorokoza and conduct their operations illegally. What are some of the positive effects of mining activities? Unki Mine has built roads as well as a dam in Ward 19 and also helped start an irrigation scheme. It has also helped in developing schools in the area.
Inini ndiri ndakanangana nezvatakaitirwa neUnki Mine. Kare taisimbofamba tichikwira makomo kuti tisvike kuShurugwi. Asi nokuda kwokuti Unki yakauya ikagadzisa road. Kufamba chaiko kwatirerukira. Zvokuti chero kutransporta zvirimwa zvedu tichiendesawo muShurugwi mutown harisisiri dambudziko.
Like Unki, is doing a very good thing, or good work in the district. Right now in Yaka open quite a number of schools. Yaka contribute a lot to the construction of schools, especially those who were affected by Onge right now.
Vanotibatsira une transport kana tikanga tavavingawo zvakanaka. Vanotibatsira ne transport yekuti takure vana tichinda kuma sports. Vanotibatsirawo tikavinga zvakanaka kuti vharirawo maroads edu anenge achegwa nemvura. Saka vane kumwe kubatsirawo kwavanoita nyangwe chizogozha apo neapo.
Uyezve Unki ichiuya yakatitira mother shelter yatanga tatokoniwa kuti tivake toga pachironde clinic. Ikatipendera chikoro changa chaparara chashakara ikamutsiridzawo kupenda nokuisa magirazi manyuwani. Unki ikavaka dzimba dzakanaka ikaimprova dzimba mukati mevillage 17.
Todo, a joint venture between ZMDC and an international investor, has taken several positive initiatives for the community around the mine. Todo introduced a tillage scheme through which it helps the community with preparing the ground for planting, amongst other initiatives.
We then introduced community tillage.
Zvavakazadzikiseko zvino vakatirimira, vakatipa mbeu namafertilizer.
These mines are creating economic activity within the areas where they are. First of all, the extraction of the mineral resource creates employment. And again, because they are creating employment, you have many people settling there. The local sectors, the local agricultural sector has demand for their goods and services. And also local artisans, local businesses dwell on that. So you'll find that within the mining areas, you have new economies developing that are positive for the country.
Despite these positive developments, there are several negative effects to mining activities. What are some of these negative effects? The ZHRC in its documentation process uncovered several human rights violations. The Commission, in conjunction with Oxfam, uncovered 6 key themes in terms of human rights violations. The first theme was that of the right to a clean, safe, and healthy environment. In a workshop held in Shurugwi, the Commission heard many heart-rending stories of loss of life as a result of this being violated.
Saka zvakaitika ipapo mwana akatumwa kumwombe. Mwana atumwa kumwombe neumwe wake waita grade 7. Chikomana iye anga musikana. Mwana uyu wanga achinzi asampofu. Anga ane 9 years. Dzokai mwana wawanikwa. Ndikati baba munini kufunga mwana wangu wadofa. Kana vachiti tivakurumidzire ko vagodini kuti vandibvunze kuti mari iri pai. Kuti mari ino mwana wangu wadho.
Zvoita sekuti kwafamuka yawira hayo mugomba.
Saka zvakatika ndezvekuti mafloodlights akanga ari mberi ndo akandibata meso. Then ini ndikangoona akaroti kaya ndingoona ndiri munzira. Asi ndiri munzira kudero zvakatika ndezvekuti handina kugona kunzwisisa kuti kumberi kwaita kwati gomba ndibva ndawira mukati. Mugomba rakanga rakareba 24 meters. Asi nokuda kuti makanga mune mabhenji mukati ndakabatira pa 17 meters ndisati ndasvika mumvura.
Many have lost their lives and many have been injured because of pits, disused mines and shafts. Open cast mining for chrome by Zimbabwe is one of the major contributors to environmental degradation.
Ndakasvika muno mu 1999 muno mumapirimiya. Saka ndasvika muno ndakaona achitochekwa makombawa namadhata ndakaona achichera. Saka makombawa especially makomba aya chinonyanya kunetsa ndechekuti isusu patakauya isusu wakanga asingabva makomba.
Saka vanhu ava vakangosiya makomba akangoshama. Makomba acho haugoni kuona zviri pasi.
Vaenda kudoro kudero povodzoka ndofunga vakabakwa nechidzimiraro ndokunopinda mumapita aya aichegwa neveSouth Africa kasi vatungamiriri vari vava venagere veZimbabwe.
Zimbabwe tributes most of its mining activities and does not supply adequate backup to rehabilitate and close the open pits left by the companies it tributes.
I think the Zimbabwe issue is a bit complex. Why I'm saying this? Because Zimbabwe is like they've got quite a number of claims. We talk from Lalapans going down to Ngeta, which is in Mberengwa there. In Zimbabwe, what they have done now, they have tributed all these claims. But now looking at Zimbabwe, they don't have that machinery to cover all places from Lalapans to Ngeta, Mberengwa.
Saka waingo wanga chikuti kangoya waibuya ne loader ne bulldozer inenge yakafa. Saka painongoti kangoti shande kwengwa shumanene yobva yafa. Takwa hayi plan yedu haisipo saka tichazodzoka tovharazi.
Muno mushurugwi mti RDC ine makesi zakawanda ezvipfuwo zviri kuwira mumakomba andikusiwa nemakomana vama illegal gold panasa nokuchera odini oinda. And at the end of the day vanongosiya masikomba akadero mombe dzakawanda dzirikudini dziri kufira imomo. Saka mafarmers mazhinji arimo ati 18 are complaining bitterly on masikomba anosiwa nevakomana varikuita zvepakapaka izvi.
Amwe akangozara vakangovuya vakaona iro rafira mwana iro ndoparakamanya vakaurindinyira. Amwe ose akangodaro chero mukaenda izvezvi nesi mungoona akangodaro inongova blue. Pagomba rakafira ndiramasi ndiye wakanga aripo panguva iyoyo.
Especially these the illegal gold panels. So at the end of the day, the communities are left with the open pits, open everything, degradation here and there. So they are no longer in the clean environment, as I'm saying.
Artisanal miners, Makorokoza, are also major contributors to this degradation. Indiscriminate mining by Makorokoza has led to massive land degradation and the emergence of deep pits. Deep shafts are dug in search of gold and chrome and sometimes even below landmarks such as roads. These pits have been a major source of danger to the community and the miners themselves. The second violation is that of inadequate compensation or lack of it in the event of a loss.
If livestock fall in, as I have said earlier on, if individuals are trapped in these dongas or in these shafts and pits, there is need to ensure that the company accounts for that in terms of ensuring that compensation is paid to the losing families.
Kama tuweza kuna chinhu chandakagona kuti ndiwane ikoko chiri kurapwa ndakarapisiwa nababa although zvavakashaya asi panguva yachona ndo vakanga vachindibatsira kundirapisa. Ivo chavakagona kuita chete ndechongoti panguva yavakanga vava kuvhara maini yavo vangondidaidza kuti ndivepo pamutambo wavakanga vachiita wokuoneka kuti vakubuda munzvimbo yekwamapanzuri. neZimbabwe yacho yakanga iripo, delegation yacho yakanga iripo yeZimbabwe. Vakatongotaura neni vachindivimbisa kwazvo kuti no tichagona kuti tikubatsire asi hazvina kugona. Hapana chinhu chandakaona.
VeZimbabwe havana zvavakatibatsira. Zvose sekiti yakachengeta munhu yende yangu chete taitangoita vaviri murume nomukadzi. Mwana wangu ndiye wakatanga kushaika.
Pakushaika kwake kwakaita nedambudziko rose randakasangana naro. Zimasco haina chayakada kubetsera nacho. Vakangouya kudamwa kungouya kuzi makomba aya aita njodzi. Vakauya vakazoona vakabva vainda. Achiti tapedza kuviga mwana ndo pavakazouya. Vakauya ne$200. Nezvigrocery tida 10 kg youpfu. Nezvishuga nezvichingwa kuda follows. Nezvimasamba. Vakati ndo chema yatadini? Yatauya naro pabasa rose rakaitika iroro. Ndo chema yavakauyisa. Unova muridzi wegomba apo wanga achimaina panguva iyo idhaizeni rechingwa. Rakabvisa nguva iyo. Ndokungopera zvakadera.
The question of who is responsible for the cause sometimes is not answered. This is due to the complexity of who owns the mining claims.
So the Zimasco issue, we understand sure the Zimasco issue it's an issue. Yes, there is a tributor, but we don't deal with the tributaries because we deal with the Zimasco because they are the ones who submitted the environmental management plan.
The third area is that of water and sanitation. It is claimed by some of the members of the community that there is no access to clean water because of the mines, as many of the rivers are heavily silted and polluted from mining chemicals. Artisanal miners, Makorokoza in particular, tend to cause siltation and pollution of rivers as a result of gold panning and the use of mercury. This has left some communities without safe drinking water.
Okay, yeah, Panama cases, water pollution along the Mtebeko River, but this is caused by the illegal gold panners. Not much of the pollution has come from the big mines. No. Then we look at siltation, big rivers, which causes illegal mining activity. Yes.
What has been violated is when you're talking about clean environment. Environment is complex. We talk of water. There is now water pollution. They violated that right to say anyone is supposed to have maybe clean, safe water to drink.
Inky Mine has a huge dam, but yet some of the members of the community do not have access to it in terms of drinking water. Hence, they have resorted to collecting water from a pipe linked to the dam.
Isusu takangoona kuti zvatiri kure nechibhorani tikangoona kuti zviri nani hedu tingosada kucherawo hedu ipapo nokuti kuchibhorani kure kwekuti kana tabva kumunda ogo mamai awo agofamba achienda kumvura chinhambopishana saka takangoona kuti sezvo iyoyi inobvawo kudhamu nevanhu vanenge vadhiniwawo zviri nani tingotorawo padhuze.
The need for more boreholes and sources of drinking water was highlighted.
Devatigadzirirawo zvibhorani. Mvura chedzo dzekumwa sekutaura kwamboitwa dzinova dzakanaka kunyange panga pasina zvibhorani, asi toziva mamaini aigadzira kuti mvura yakanaka ivepo.
The fourth area is that of unemployment. Many voices spoke to the lack of employment by the minds of community members.
Not all are happy, especially by employment. We see that not much has been done as far as creation of employment is concerned. When Unki opened, Yakatora, the skilled manpower from other mines, Shabani mine was on the verge of closing and the like. But my general hand, Yakatora, well, not to our satisfaction.
Sekukura kwataita taingoziva kuti kana maini ikauya munzvimbo mabasa anenge awanikwa, zvimwe zvinhuwo zvinenge zvisina kumira zvakanaka zvinomira zvakanaka nokuti maini dzataiziva mazuva apfuura taiziva kuti maini dzinovakira vanhu dzimba, chekutanga vanhu vakapinda mabasa dzimba dzinovapo, migwagwawo inogadzirika zvakanaka.
Vanokwanisa kuti ivo panawo havatori vanhu vepanzvimbo ipapo. Of course pane vamwe vanenge vari skilled kuti vangakwanisa kuti vaite imwe basa, vanokwanisa kuti vane certificates, but vanokwanisa kuvatora havana problem. Asi toenda pageneral hand unokwanisa kuti hanzi kwa tiri kuda maolives but munhu anolasha hanzi kwa toda maolives tirati vane vanhu vavo vanotsvaka kure kure vakadaro.
Kana iri employment vana vabve kuna mambo tovapa vanhu isu. Kana ane kosiwo yake vachitsvanga munhu une kosi isina mwana womunomushurugwi hazvina kuipa kuti vatore vanhu vakadaro. But kana tina vana makosi akadero navamwe vanoita general labor vade vachibva munomushurugwi.
The fifth theme is that of displacement and disruption of farmers and farming. Farmers sometimes have to walk long distances to find grazing land. It is said that mining takes precedent over farming. The coming in of the mines has also led to the displacement of some of the members of the community, as well as the disruption of activities by those living in the area.
We have a feeling that the farmers are being shortchanged in terms of the land that have been given. Of course, we understand there is a working policy that mining takes precedence. But we are saying, look here, mining and agriculture, I think they should be equally rated.
Tineta msangano na vanhu, the affected population. To tsanangurira no mining takes no precedence over farming. Saka they have to give way for the miner. Then we discuss how best can we assist the affected people, and then the responsibility then goes back to the miner.
Mr. Chidakwa was relocated as a result of the coming in of Unki mine. He lamented the lack of adequate space and grazing land for his livestock as a result of being resettled by the mine.
Dambudziko guru kwazo. Zvoita sokuti ndadova mubhotoro. Upenyu hwandagara pano ndava muchizarira. Ndine zvipfuwo, ndine mbudzi dzobuda apo dzotora mbeu yomunhu. Otakavakidzana mangwana vana unonge uchingotaurira asi vano chipfuwo kachangovona pane otapira ka nyange ochivhikirira sei chinonetsa.
We hardly go a day without receiving those complaints.
The sixth area is that of equitable distribution of resources. High on the hearts of the communities is the human right of equitable distribution of mining claims and resources. In particular, Zimbabwe owns most of the claims.
We are talking about host mining communities that in Shona, let me put that in Shona. Kunonze mwana washe muranda kumwe. But these are the owners of resources. But unfortunately, vanoita savaranda munzvimbo mavo because Zimbabwe pegged these mining claims back in 1904, and community participation or indigenous participation in chrome mining is limited. It can only happen through the terms and conditions that are prescribed by Zimbabwe.
Saka kodzero dzedu tinenge tichiona kuti zvinhu zvakaitwa macompanies akaregister maclaims awo as far back as 1890, 1897, 1908, 1920, 1940, ruzhinji gusati gwava neaccess.
Saka kana tatribute kana macompanies tine vanoti tigadzire ma-EI, tinogadzira ma-EI yacho. Vanoti tibhadhare ma-inspection fee to the Ministry of Mines, tinobhadhara. But vanozotidzvanyirira ande temuri kuona.
Saka kuti zviite right ndezvokuti tikaredusa number yamaclaims akabatwa navava vasiri kumashandisa kuti nemaminari akangosiyiwa.
Several key challenges emerged. Number one, the lack of clarity in regards to who is liable in the event of loss and the compensation needed to be paid.
It is the responsibility of that mine to build or to compensate the affected farmers.
Responsibility number one is to go to the company that is mining because reclamation is part and parcel of the recurrent expenses or costs of mining.
Number 2, who is responsible for rehabilitation and reclamation of disused pits, mines and shafts? Are mines following the terms of the EIA document?
We had some audits with this MASCO from Lalapanzi to Ngeta, trying to see the number of pits that are active. The Poteleko one, as we're going down there, we have tried to give them an order to say, no, you are mining, you are encroaching into a stream. So we issued them with the fine. We issued them with an order to rehab that particular place. So if it is in terms of finding, we find this MASCO. If it is in terms of stopping operations, we stop operations through MASCO.
The third challenge is that corporate social responsibility is not legislated. Hence, it is difficult to hold companies accountable for sustainable development.
There is still a gap in terms of social enforcement of corporate social responsibility. The law is not very clear on that, and what steps the law takes if a company fails to perform in the corporate social responsibility.
We carried out a research, and it is very clear that in Zimbabwe, corporate social responsibility is not legislated, it's voluntary.
On the issue of corporate social responsibility, I would like to say much still needs to be done.
Another challenge arising is the lack of capacitation of EMA in enforcing policy and laws in reference to the environment.
And also, on that same note, EMA, which is tasked with ensuring that the environment is kept safe, should be capacitated. Because the moment we have an EMA officer, 1 or 2 in the whole district, without a vehicle to move around and supervise and inspect mining operations, the moment we do not have that capacity to inspect, to move around, then that smacks of trouble on the part of the department, which will end up failing to ensure that the environment is adequately monitored.
Another major challenge is the lack of harmony between government ministries in terms of policy involving displacement of families because of mining activities.
The ministries concerned, they must harmonize again their acts.
Allocate land. We also avoid allocating land where there is there's a mining claim. So sometimes we go there, you don't even know where the claim boundary is. There is no harmonization at all.
And the overlap of different ministries and departments is something which has been adequately documented, and it's something which is of concern to the implementation of policies, especially at the point of action.
Several recommendations were put forward to these challenges. Firstly, in regards to liability in terms of loss, it is the miner's responsibility to compensate, and there is need for mining firms to follow the terms set out in the EIA document, such as community engagement.
And the recommendation is the state working through parliament should then make sure that they engage local communities and become aware of violations of environmental rights and violations of the environment. Another pillar is the pillar of rehabilitation. And I think your video shows how much that pillar has been neglected. Basically because of the existing economic challenges, a lot of these mining concerns abandon communities. And to me, the first step will be basically communities being organized to understand the environmental impact assessment reports, and also to be empowered to demand that activities stipulated in that report are implemented by the mining company. The private sector, on the other hand, as it exploits the mineral resources, is supposed to respect the environment. And respecting the environment means they need to apply best practices that reduce the damage to the environment, and also give them an obligation to repair the environment when they've finished what they're doing.
The issue of environmental management, environmental control, filling of gullies, reclamation of land is not an issue of one department, one stakeholder. It is an all stakeholders issue.
And to me, as a recommendation, there are two elements which we should look at. The local authorities, who are basically the ones who are managing local resources, including the traditional leaders, need to be able to coordinate the activities of all these actors and the activities of all those ministries, depending on the relevant act and the relevant activities. But more importantly, as we discussed earlier, the local communities must be adequately organized.
Yes, if you look at the duty bearers on human rights, it's not just the state. It is every juristic person, every individual, and we are saying in order to ensure that people's human rights are upheld, it takes all people, all organizations, all institutions to make a contribution towards this. But the link with Parliament per se as an independent institution is related to the reporting that has to be done by the Commission to Parliament. The Commission is an independent institution which is not directed by anybody, not even the Minister of Justice, who is the line minister, not even the President, on how it should discharge its mandate.
It was recommended that artisanal miners be trained and incorporated into mainstream mining.
Ma big mines are there better to train illegal gold panels so that we should better methods. I think are environmental friendly.
Regularization of the artisanal miners, because the moment they are going about calling themselves, proudly calling themselves Makorokozi, already that shows that this sector is a sector that is involved in some illegal activity. Why not regularize? Why not formalize? That they become proper artisanal miners, small-scale miners.
It was suggested that EMA be capacitated with enough resources for it to enforce laws and policies in regards to the environment. The need for human rights literacy for the community was highlighted.
And to us, the major recommendation is, first, let's aggressively promote a human rights conscious culture within our communities. And we need to promote the human rights conscious culture in the private sector, especially the mining sector.
The role of the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission in dealing with issues of human rights violations needs to be enforced.
The Constitution of Zimbabwe gives the Commission powers that it should use to ensure that human and environmental rights are protected. An example, Section 243 basically gives the Commission powers to secure appropriate redress, meaning in the case of the mining concerns, the Commission can demand from a mining company to address an environmental degradation or a human rights violation. And this section allows the Commission to basically even recommend the prosecution of offenders of human rights.
The Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission has made a commitment to hold accountable stakeholders in the mining sector to redress these issues. Sustainability of the nation depends on safeguarding the environment. There is hope for the people of Shurugwi, and the Commission will leave no stone unturned to safeguard our present and future resources through constant monitoring. This has been a production of the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission in conjunction with Oxfam.